We're so blessed here at St. Ambrose to have a Catholic school, as well as an early childhood center. So from 6 weeks old all the way through 8th grade, we are blessed to have in these halls so many kids. We're actually so blessed. This year has been our biggest year since starting the school. We have more than 600 kids in our school, and we're so excited about that. I'm really blessed that I get to visit classrooms. I get to visit kindergarten, 1st grade, 3rd and 4th, and 6th and 7th grade. It keeps me on my toes. I mean, it really does. They're so different. And one of the great things about being in the presence of children, especially young children, is they show us in a vivid way that we have an innate desire to grow. We have an innate desire to mature. Like, we want to grow. We want to learn more. We want to get better. We want to get faster. We want to jump higher. We want to make more friends, and so on. And it's just on full display in kindergarten. By the way, if you're ever having a bad day, visit other people's kindergartners. Do you know what I mean? Maybe not your own, because maybe that's why you're having a bad day. But like, go visit other people's kindergartners. You just can't not smile. One thing that's so special about that age is you don't have to do that much, at least when they're not your kid, to make them happy. All you have to do is look them in the eye and smile with love. And when you make eye contact with a kindergartner, they're like a balloon. It's like all of a sudden you make eye contact with them and you look at them and you smile and you love them, and they just start filling up. And sometimes kindergartners can't handle the love that they're experiencing through that gaze, and they'll just shoot off or something like that. Or they'll just like smile, or like all of a sudden they want to tell you about their dog or their grandpa. It's so great. But all ages have this innate desire to grow. And if I can say it with so much reverence and respect to our middle schoolers, it starts to get muted right then. Something happens in middle school where all of a sudden this innate desire that we have to grow gets muted a little bit. It's still there. It's still there. They want to grow as much as you and I want to grow. But then there's also this other thing happening, which is called puberty, and social interaction and trying to fit in. So now it's like, okay, if I'm super excited about learning, am I going to be weird or odd? That kid doesn't seem to be engaged, so I'm going to disengage. Isn't that interesting? Like, okay, sometimes you and I can find ourselves in like a little tiny culture, and if that little tiny culture isn't engaged, then like, I don't necessarily want to step out. I don't necessarily want to be bold right here, courageous, powerful, because then I'll be kind of solitary, it seems. So I'm going to mute myself. And this reality that happens, by the way, they work through it. It's awesome. They work through it and they keep growing, and I'm loving this middle schoolers. That same reality that happens though in middle school happens to us when we're adults. You and I still have this innate desire to grow. You want to grow in your marriage. You want to grow as a parent. You want to grow in relationship with your extended family. You want to grow in your job. I mean, it's almost something that managers or bosses look for. Is this person desiring to grow, or are they going to just coast if I hire them? Athletes, we want to grow. And we want to grow too in our relationship with God. The apostles are just like you and me. They say to Jesus, increase our faith. Increase our faith. In other words, Jesus, we want to grow. Help us to grow. I find that I can't grow on my own. I need you, please. And Jesus gives us a very mysterious response. He gives them a very mysterious response. But it's also super encouraging. He says, sometimes when you think you want to grow, you feel like your faith has to be gigantic to be able to do great things. And Jesus says to the apostles, actually, I want to encourage you. You don't have to have a great faith to do great things. In fact, if your faith is so small as a mustard seed, you can do great things. I've held a mustard seed. That's not even the right way to say it. In Catechesis of the Good Shepherd, which we have at St. Ambrose, they have the mustard seed parable. And you can, as a kid, put a mustard seed on your finger. And I encourage you sometime to do that because it's super profound, what Jesus is saying. It's like, imagine you have a pepper, like a small pepper flake on your finger. You wouldn't even know it was there. So small. And Jesus is saying, guys, actually I want to encourage you. If you step out in faith, even a little bit, you and me together, we can do great things. So today, if you find yourself a little bit like a middle schooler where you're like, in America, it doesn't seem to be a super encouraging culture to be vocally Christian. If I step out, I might kind of seem solitary. Jesus wants to say, even if your faith is super small, you can still do great things. We also want to add one thing to that. You actually don't have to step out on your own. You can do it together. This is what it is to be a part of a church, the body of Christ. Today we have a small groups fair at St. Ambrose, which I'm super excited about. We are holding up for all of us here at St. Ambrose the different small group opportunities that you and your family can join. Just want to say just a brief word about the word small group. Because sometimes you and I can have baggage with certain words. And it can prevent us from taking next steps. So like, when you hear the word small group, what comes to mind? And if I can say with so much affection, sometimes we can say, like when we hear small groups, we can hear touchy-feely. We can hear like hand-holding. We can hear like oversharing awkwardness or something like this, right? But that is not what a small group is. I mean, if you want to hold hands in your small group, go ahead. Okay? Go ahead. Small groups are people just like you and me sharing life together, growing together at all the different ages and stages of life. You and I need small groups because we only have a capacity for so many relationships. I can't know 10,000 people. I need smaller groups that help me grow, that encourage me when I'm down, that pick me up, that celebrate me with me. If something great happens in your life, who do you share it with? You share it with your small group. If something hard happens in your life, who do you share it with? You share it with your small group. You probably already have a small group of people in your life. Now we want to encourage you to have a small group of people here as well that walk with you in your faith. Just want to hold up briefly each of the groups that we're holding up. Also, as a final note about that, we are updating our website on this, and if you'd like to check out our website, under Get Involved, click on Small Groups, and much of what I'm going to say here is there as well. We have book and Bible studies, different ways that you and I can be interested in certain topics or certain messages or something, and then you study that together. We have groups for men. We have a group called Impact 133 that meets on Thursday mornings way earlier than humans want to wake up. Just kidding. I'm not a morning person, but one of the things that helps you wake up is the smell of bacon. It is. The smell of bacon wafting through the hallways to bring men together, to share life, to hear a message and be encouraged as a man. We also have a men's club that serves, and we have men's basketball on Saturday morning. For women, we have this wonderful group called Walking with Purpose. Women, I just want to encourage, if you've never checked this out, it's amazing. You're going to love it. So Walking with Purpose is what we have for our women. We've started 2 groups for couples. One is for engaged and young married couples. It's so awesome. Where if you've got small children and you're looking to meet other couples and other families just like we come together for dinner, and it's mainly just to have time for social time and to meet each other. We started another run just like that for couples that are older, maybe couples that have kids outside of high school, things like this, and they affectionately call themselves the in-betweeners. So, the in-betweeners. We have a young adults group for people who have graduated high school, and we have a group for people who are 50 years old and older, more seasoned in life. And we have groups for culture. We're so blessed here at St. Ambrose to have so many different cultures represented. Last night I got invited to a family's house to bless their home. They're from the Philippines, and I got to partake of tremendous Filipino food. We have a group right now for people from India and for people for Spanish speakers as well too. And I know we have other cultures here as well, and if you'd like to help start those culture groups too, we'd be super encouraging and helpful to do that. I just want to hold up 2 more opportunities for us. We're so blessed here at St. Ambrose for ways for us to get together to grow. Father Peter is actually launching his own small group. And he's going to do a book study of a wonderful book called True Friendship. This book is so powerful. Is there anything more that the human heart desires than friendship? Friendship? He's going to teach about this book, and there'll be opportunities to share. I highly encourage you to check that out. And then lastly, we've been able to partner. St. Ambrose is partnering with a Catholic psychology organization called Novare. I was so blessed by the founder of the group, Dan Stockman. He taught at the seminary. He also walked with me immensely in my life at seminary. And they're partnering to start a pilot program to help people with their emotions. So, if you find in your life that you struggle with anxiety, or you struggle with other types of emotions, and you just want to be able to help process them and work through them, one of our very own parishioners, Abby Bongers, is launching this group. And we can't wait for people to join this group. So all of these groups are going to be represented in our cafeteria, and you can sign up and you can talk with people from each of the group to learn more about if one of them interests you. But Father Peter and I just want to hold up to you that what better way to have St. Ambrose, this big church, become smaller to where you feel known, accepted, and loved, to where you connect with other people to help you step out, than a small group. So we just invite you to pray about that. We invite you to take a next step, because Jesus says, even if your faith is this big, you don't have to have a great faith to do great things. You can have a small step with big impact.